Hey, St. Patrick's. Hope you're having a great day. It's Wednesday morning, just before lunchtime, and I'm sitting in my office doing some work and wanted to make my e newsletter for the week. Real short video today. All I want to talk about is our preaching series during Epiphany. I'm really excited that we get to talk about community. And, a couple different times early in the year, I've gone back and preached on the four practices. If you remember it, our kind of the way we state our mission as a parish is we're about making disciples through worship, community, formation, and mission. It's on the bottom of our weekly handout every week. And so, worship, community, formation, and mission, we call it those the four practices. And so, worship it answers the question, how do we love God? Community asks the question, how do we love the church? And that means the people in the church. Second, formation asks, how do we become the kind of person who can love? And then mission asks, how do we love our world? And we talk about those. And as you probably know, we build our ministries around those four categories. And as we developed those years ago, kind of understood that as a way to capture what you see in the Scripture as the kind of four core purposes of the church and what we're about. Well, anyway, this series is really about the four practices, but rather than talk about all of them, we're going to zero in on the practice of community. And I'm not going to develop like a deep theology of the church. This is more about, hey, if we're part of the church, the Church Catholic, we live that out in a particular parish. So for us, St. Pat's Parish, how do we do that? How do we become a people who pay attention to each other? How do we become a people who tell the truth to each other? How do we become a people that serve each other well? And how do we do that, all those things and others, in a way that each one of us own and each one of us commit to? The New Testament is actually clogged with information about these ideas. Every time, virtually every time, I probably should say, qualify that, the Apostle Paul, St. Paul, when he writes to a church and begins to get practical, his commands aren't really, commands for each individual on their own in their personal life about how to follow Jesus. They're commands to the church about how to be church. We're not going to get to look at all of them, but I want to look at a few key passages, think about this together, and my desire is this, that as a result of this winter kind of time of looking at some of these key texts, we can grow in this area. I think we do well, but I think every church can grow, and I think there have been weak spots in our practice of community and giving attention to each other, and whatever weak spots there are, the person looking at this video is guilty of all or more of them. So I just think it's a great opportunity for us to give attention to this, grow together, and learn how to be even better at loving one another. I think it's First Thessalonians where Paul tells that church, I want you to abound in loving one another, excel at loving one another. And so that's my prayer for us, that we'll take a season of kind of focusing on this. We'll learn how to love one another better, learn how to practice the practice of community, and abound and excel in our love. So I'm excited about doing that. Hope you are too. Be praying for me as I study and prep, and I'll be praying for you. And I hope you have a great rest of the week. God bless you, and see you on Sunday.